RuneScape is one of those forever games where we constantly set a new goal and then accomplish the goal and set another one. Some of them small, others grandiose, but that's the point of RuneScape, chasing the impossible. It's been 2 years since the last episode on this series, but I think it's time that we bring it back. A lot has happened in the past 2 years on this game, and well, it wouldn't be a car guy video if I didn't show you a little montage of everything that's happened. So let's go ahead and get into it. The adventure will continue. For those who feel forgotten, you aren't. Your daily thoughts of others are not forlorn, as everyone does this. This is proof that out there, someone remembers who you are and is thinking about you. This song was dedicated to the individuals who I've never been able to properly say goodbye to. Like this series, They are never forgotten. I know this list might grow in the future, but I pray that day never comes. Don't be a reason to add to someone else's list. It feels odd being here, not just running into the portal and spamming out a bunch of Glacore KC. I think I have a streak going right now. Yeah, I do. Decent amount of commons in there so far. I think everyone wants to know what's happened for the past year and a half, 2 years of me playing this account, and well, there is a bit of a story to be told. As you just saw, there's been quite a few drops and quite a bit of GP made in the past year and a half, but the cash deck isn't really reflecting that, so where is it all? And I think we need to go to a bank of some sort in order to show you what has happened with all that GP. And if I open up my bank here, it looks quite a bit different than it did before. And if I bring over the last episode, this is what my bank looked like. I did have pretty much best in slot gear. I think I did before the series started. I've had Biz for a while, but there is quite a few differences. Firstly, I don't have my Elite Serenic anymore. I pretty much cashed that all out. As back when this episode was a thing, I don't even think Draco Lich was around. I don't think Vorkath had released yet. Or maybe Vorkath was out when I started recording this. I can't quite remember. But we have another armor set here. I have a whole new row of weapons. And I could probably go on making all the comparisons, but suffice to say, I have bought quite a bit of gear. And that is because over the past year and a half or so, I've been trying to keep up with all of the metas, having a bit of fun while playing the game, and coming up with and making guides for new strategies involving new gear like dual wields, masterwork armor, having all of the grasping pouches, and having fun with the game, like dyeing some items, putting other things in keepsake. And from memory, there are 2 or 3 big things that I remember spending a lot of GP on, and I'll just briefly go over them and then give what I have now thought of for a solution to kind of fix this problem. But one of them was definitely Sanctum of Rebirth release. I paid on release for these weapons because I really wanted to test them. I really wanted to see what Magic could do with its new T95 dual wields, and I remember paying 3.7 bill for these weapons. I think it was like an hour after release I ended up buying them because I just wanted to test and use them at Sanctum. And if I just go to a wand here, yeah, they're under 100 mil each, so essentially I've lost well over 3.5 bill just by buying these. Do I regret it? Not really. Am I kind of salty? Yes. I think these offhands that I've been waiting for since Sanctum of Rebirth came out to be dyeable so I could use things like a flanking and a lunging swap. Supposedly we're getting that later this year, although there isn't really a confirmed date, but they were showing stuff on a stream, so maybe I'll finally be able to play with some actual switches. And these, I think I paid another 400 mil for all of them, maybe a bit less because they were crashing. And with Sanctum, an item called the Shard of Genesis Essence came out, and that goes on any T95 weapon to turn it into a T100. And those were 2 bill each. Now those have held value. I paid about 2 bill each for all of them. I did the FSOA, the dual wields, the Bow of the Last Guardian, EZK, and Langs. I did all of them pretty much on release within at most a month of release. The Necromancy ones I did not pay for. However, I got it as a drop, and my Sanctum luck is not exactly the greatest. If I pull it up here, I'm at 321 hard mode. I don't mind the dungeon. It's not my favorite piece of content ever, but I have a decent number of wands, not too many orbs, but I only have 3 shards, which they're 1 in 80 as a drop rate, and so I would expect to probably see another shard by now. As shard number 3 I literally got on this KC. I haven't gone back since. And the other 2 things that I can think of off the top of my head were the 2 Christmas events. One of them, if I go into my keepsake box, there they are. I got all of the lucky spirit shields. These were items I always wanted because I've been playing since 2013 consistently anyways, but I've been playing the game since late 2006, early 2000s, somewhere around there. The date's kind of fuzzy on when I actually started playing, and I remember seeing the lucky spirit shields, especially the lucky divine, in a Squeal of Fortune, if anyone remembers that whole thing. And I always thought they were really cool looking items because they're kind of a muffled look and they kind of match things a lot better. And I remember spending billions of GP on bonds trying to get these because it was a very convoluted system, but it was in-game currency, so I didn't care. And then the other one, I remember spending quite a bit of GP in order to work on 5.8. I think I got 200 mil agility and possibly hunter just from those events alone. Again, my memory's a little bit fuzzy as this was a while ago. And so as you can see, spending GP in order to keep up with guides, to keep up with biz and other things definitely has its price. However, I don't regret it because I've been able to make a bunch of guides and help out people. And I don't know about y'all, but I also love dyeing things. I love the concept of dyes for weapons, and I even have an Ice Easy K. I'm sure some of you have noticed I have Ice Kopeshes now. And if I equip this Easy K and I go into my cosmetic tab again, the eagle-eyed of you probably noticed this Ice ZGS that I have. I've bought these all recently because ice dyes were cheap, but again, it is all cost. So just off the top of my head for random purchases, whether it be best in slot gear, whether it be dyes or other things, I've probably spent in total, I'd guesstimate about 40 bill GP. And I won't lie, my will to absolutely farm out bosses in this game has definitely died off. There is no denying that. Ever since necromancy came into the game and kind of trivialized boss farming for a while, it is balanced now with the other combat styles, I will say. But the overall kind of charm with PVM seems to be dead because everything is just about how many ticks you can save on a phase now. In short, the power creep is just way overtuned for what the bosses currently are. I don't engage in any of the mechanics on any boss anymore. And I also didn't have a good solution in order to balance out constantly building up my cash stack versus having GP to spend on items for guides or items for review, like this masterwork set that just came out for magic. And I'm surprised I didn't come up with this sooner, but starting now, I'm going to implement a rule. And that rule is anytime I make a large amount of GP, I will take a portion, probably like 30%, maybe 50% if I'm feeling lucky, or really need to start saving for something to be on release, and just put it into a spirit shard stack. So something going forward in all of these episodes I think that we're going to do is just look out on the radar and see what we have coming up. Now, coming out on August 4th, we have the Amasket boss release, and that is going to be dropping tier 95 magic armor. That is going to be dropping a replacement for the scythe that will be T95, possibly T100 with a shard. It's going to be dropping a new main hand necromancy weapon, and I'm sure I'm going to be testing and wanting all of these items on release, and I will be doing Amasket on release. So these are all things that I'm going to set aside GP for. Now, I think getting the shard stack to about, I'm gonna say anywhere from 10 to 15 bill should be more than enough. But something we can do real quick is just go over to this summoning area or the summoning shops, whatever they are. If I could learn how to bladed dive and surge in game. And we'll go over here to buy some shards. So if my math is serving me correct, we need 40 million shards to equal 1 billion GP. And I think I'm going to just do this in 1 billion increments. Anytime I feel I have a surplus of cash or get a large drop or something like that, I'll just chuck another bill into the shard stack. Now those packs are 5k shards per pack, which means I need 8,000 of them. So go ahead and buy 3, 4, and there we go, 8,000 spirit shards. Go ahead and open them all. We have 40 mil in shards. That cost us 1 billion GP. And if anyone else wants to do this, you just come here and sell shards if you need to sell them, and he buys them back for the same exact price. I think it's one of the only items in game that's stackable and has a consistent buy and sell price. So we'll go ahead and put those in there. Now, something I still do to this day to help out with GP gain is I pretty much always have my auto alkers going at some capacity. Oh, it looks like these ones have finished off. I had some Hydrix bolts in here that I had fletched from Zami. Nice little 15 mil there. I'll just make sure my auto disassembler has nothing. Yep. Run up here and grab some handy dandy nature runes and top these machines off. And I think what I'm actually going to go do now is, since there's nothing in here and I don't really have any alkables in my bank, we'll go ahead and check the tabs real quick. I don't think I have any bolt tips. No, I don't have any Onyx or Hydrix bolt tips. I think I'm going to go ahead and do some Zamorak. I have been doing more Zammy recently. I finished the log quite a while ago, but as far as this episode is concerned, I have finished the Zammy log because back then I didn't have it completed. I was doing 500s. With the Easy K and how it's buffed up now, you can pump out Zammy kills in the 5.5 minute range at 750%. So you get an extra 10 points, I believe, on the common loot, which you get quite a few Hydrix and Onyx bolt tips per hour. I pretty much only put the Hydrix ones in the auto alker. The Onyx ones, yes, they're worthwhile, but these machines overflow with Hydrix, so I only do them at this point. And if I'm really bored, I'll just like AFK alk if I'm just bank standing or something like that. But let's go ahead and run some Zamorak and we'll fill those auto alkers back up. Alrighty, I've done 1 hour of Zammy so far, and I got a small little base of alkables to toss in here just to get these going. This we need to put 759 in and 1370 of these. Put the others in the other one. All right, we'll let these go. I'm probably going to do a couple more hours of Zamorak. I've also been doing a couple hours of other things just to vary the GP gains. I've been doing some Carapac. I'll also run some more Glaycore because the salvage there are pretty good, at least before all of this gets nerfed, which apparently is coming in July. So onward and upward. Oh, we're green. Wonder what it's going to be. You know what? I'll take it. I'll definitely take it. How did you not die from reflect damage? Oh, we got a drop. Guff gets stuff, maybe? Is this finally the pet? Oh, let's see. Oh, I will take that over a pet. I will absolutely take that over a pet. Let's go. Are there 2.3? That's crazy. All right, ad should be over with. We're green. Let's see what we get. You know what? I'll take it. I'll definitely take that. Oh. Man, I don't know what it is with me and Zammy, but I've been getting a lot of drops. All right. My KC. 1087. My last drop was on 1080. That is insane. Does anyone want to wager a guess what this drop is? It's a rare. All right, very safe bets. Oh. Hey, we got a bow piece. I think that's the expensive one too. So we did a few hours of Zam. The auto alkers are now nice and full. They're working away on some stuff. They'll hold off for a little while, but if I go ahead and go to wars and then we go look at my Glaycore chest, I'm just gotta switch this portal over. There's Glaycore. Go ahead and go in. We open up this chest here. I have quite a few salvage in here, and there's other alkables. Nothing crazy as far as the streak is concerned, but more stuff to keep in the auto alker just to keep it going. So I think instead of rushing more Zammy and trying to push our luck at Zam has been really good. As you guys saw, we got another bow piece. I think I'm going to switch gears and work on this streak just to see where it goes. So let's get to it. Alrighty, bought another 8,000 shard packs, which is another 40 million shards, which means for a masket prep, we are up to 120 million shards, which is the equivalent of 3 billion GP. I want to get this as close to 10 bill as possible. I think 10 bill for a boss release is more than enough. And honestly, in fact, I have some spare GP. Let's just send it and we'll get it to the halfway point, and then I'll go get a bunch of other drops. All right, I went ahead and bought all, and so what I can do here is then just sell off what I don't need for now, since I do want some GP to have for death cost or other supplies and stuff. So 18,525,000. And that leaves us with the 460 mil I had. That's another 2 bill in shards. We'll go ahead and chuck that into the bank. And there we are. We're at 5 bill worth of spirit shards. That's halfway to the goal already for a mascot release. And for this episode, once I hit 10 bill here, it'll just be whatever I can send into the cash stack. So back to the old grind.
3 days later.
Oh, let's go. That's another core. So Operation Fill the Auto Alkers was a success. We did a Glaycore streak and we actually managed to get a core, as well as I was also running this with some Zami alkables as mentioned earlier in the episode, but the Auto Alkers are back to pretty much being full. I just filled this up maybe an hour ago. Got a lot of bolts in here, some Orichalcum salvage. We'll let this run through. This one is pretty much the same. I had to toss in a smidge of onyx dust just to get it full, but it's time we go back to Tavelry and buy some spirit shards because we're back over a bill. I want to get this shard stack built up to where I need it to as fast as possible, so that way I just have it in the back of my head, and for this episode we can hurry up back to a blue stack. So go ahead and buy. And 8,000, so we open these up. That is 40 mil. That is another billion GP in shards. We'll go shove this in the stack real quick. And there we go, 240 MS. That is 6 bill in shards. We need 4 more bill here, which should be relatively simple to do within, I'd say, a week max.
In the business, we call this foreshadowing.
Oh, f that could have been really fast. Another shadow spike. That's funny. Alrighty, if I get Naka Pet this kill, I'll Aurora dye my FSOA.
You don't say!
Alright, am I dyeing my staff or not? Oh, I got a drop. We have a drop. We are glowing. Wiggity swooty, give me that looty.
Yeah!
No, but it's a shard. Oh, let's go. I think I'm on drop right now. That's a good feeling. Well, as you probably saw, we got a shard so far. And you know what that means? We're gonna buy more shards in order to just keep the cash separate for the mascot fund. So I'll just go ahead and buy them real quick. Alrighty, we got 24,000 shard packs, which is 120 million spirit shards. That's another 3 bill to toss in the pile. We'll go ahead and see where that puts us. And we'll go ahead and deposit these. We're at 360 million shards, so we just need 40 mil more, and that is the 10 bill saved up for a mascot. Now I'm at 330 KC here. I have 4 shards, so technically I'm on drop right now, or close enough anyways. I still don't have the pet, so I'll try my luck and see if I can still pull a pet drop. And if I get an extra shard or 2 from that, that is just more GP for me. So I think I'll keep doing like an hour or 2 of this boss each day. That's about what my brain can tolerate. And I just realized I have no Grim pages at all, so I think I'm going to start adding some Solak back into the daily rotation for bosses. So that way for a mascot, I can have a 24-hour Grim good to go, as well as have some pages in reserve should I need them, or just sell them for more GP because we always like that. But let's go ahead and get back to some pet farming and some Solak page hunting.
2 days later.
So I just did some cleaning out of my bank. I cleaned out a few items out of my old armors tab, some skilling tab, and other just random stuff. I didn't go through any supplies or anything like that, and I'm already back over a bill, so we can just finish up the shard stack and call it good. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Now, for some reason, Pterosaur Maul was still 200 mil. I had a core hammer in there for mining, and I'm not really doing any skilling right now, so I sold those 2. That was like almost 700 mil right there, and then a bunch of other miscellaneous stuff like 20 mil here, 40 mil here, 5 mil here. That all added up, so let's go ahead and buy these shards. All right, all the shards have been purchased. Go ahead and open them up. Another 40 mil shard, and that'll be 400 million in total. Go ahead and put these in the bank real quick. And just like that, we have 10 bill in spirit shards. Now I only have 59 mil cash right now, so I definitely need to work on that. At time of recording, it's July 10th, so I have now basically 2 weeks roughly in order to build up this cash stack as high as I want. Now, something I would like to do in this episode is drop an Aurora die on this FSOA I have, because an item I was looking at doing for my personal dies and getting all that sorted out was a third age FSOA, and this is roughly what it looks. It's a PNG, so it's kind of hard to see the edges and whatnot, but I think this would look really good as a personal die. I think I mentioned it earlier in the episode, but I'm doing all of my personal dies first, and then I'm going to be adding into my actual die collection, which is right here. And I imagine the Aurora icons for these will look really cool, because honestly, the FSOA icons, they all look pretty bad. Even the blood one is pretty muted. So for now, I'll use the Aurora FSOA. I think it looks good in person, but obviously I think third age is going to look better. And I think they're only like 450, 500 mil. So maybe I'll do a bit more bank cleaning, make sure I've gotten everything out that I don't need, and we will keep going from there. If it's more than my stack, I probably won't do it. 407 to buy. Oh, I can't do that. 485. Oh, bot. Okay. Ehar NASCAR, do it for Dale. All right, put that there. Yeah, that's a much better icon. Now I need to do this. All right, I got 15 mil. We'll see how much we make from this. I've only done a couple hours so far. This goes there. And then this also goes there. Okay, if I have enough commons to maybe pay for another, and I have my auto walkers, it's fine. You're back from lunch, did I win? Yes, because I died my staff. They really appreciate the complexity, but there's a lot of people who just want to come on to complain. And so it's just like, okay, I see what you're doing. I'm just not going to interact because you're not worth my time. That's how you have to treat those people. I'm ranting about this shit and I get a cheat chain. That's going to be funny in a Trillionaire episode. Little update here. I've decided to stop hunting pet at Sanctum of Rebirth. I'm going to wait until the new armor set is out to kind of go back there and maybe get shards that I need. I am still doing Solak for Grim pages, but I have decided that on my Raksha pet, I need to get this number to 6969 for reasons. Mostly it's just a funny number, and my cash stack was around 450, 500, and Aurora dice are about the same cost, so I went ahead and bought one and tossed it on my FSOA because the icon does look pretty cool. And then a couple kills later, I got a G chain. However, it only sold for like 425. But I'm just gonna run Raksha as far as I can, and we'll see how much we make, and whatever I make is what I make, and once we hit this goal, that'll probably be the end of the episode. So let's farm out more Dino Boss. All right, so this is editor me here. This clip was muted, and I'm kind of walking around, and essentially what I was talking about was we're in the Raksha challenge doing our thing. And I was talking about the loot nerf, showing off some KC, like how far I had gotten and whatnot. And I believe later on in this clip, I showed how Greco and G-Chain had fallen really far because of said loot nerf. And I basically was just going on a like 5-minute rant about this stuff. That's all I was really doing. And at the time of recording on this clip, I believe G-Chain was 300 mil and Greco was 350 mil. And that pretty much took all of the wind out of my sails for farming Raksha. I was pretty upset at the time. But since I was not smart and decided to record an entire clip with all audio sources muted, well, now you have a little bit of post commentary here. And after this clip, I believe I took a short break to go play Minecraft with some of my friends. And when I came back from that little hiatus, my luck turned around. What? What? Nah, that didn't happen. What? I got a care pack for 1 kill after I get a core. I got a staff piece. What the hell is going on? I take a break for 3 days and this game is throwing every drop it can at me to try and keep me back in. Holy cow. They're just like, no, we can't lose one of our biggest degens. No, do not let this happen. Do not let this no life go to another game. So I got a core at Glaycore. And then I decided, oh, I'll just finish out at Carapac and test some stuff. And then I just get a staff piece. Now I gotta see what this sells for. Well, I was not expecting to get back up to 2 bill cash so quickly, but the core sold for 600 mil. The FSOAP sold for 588. I was surprised on the price of both of those, honestly. I figured core was going to be quite a bit cheaper due to the drop rate increases and EZK being the mainstay of Melee now, but I will not complain. And with our Amasket fund of 10 bill secured, we have 2 bill GP here. I'll probably go through and top off some supplies at some point, but I think this is a good resting place for Trillionaire episode 5, as Trillionaire episode 6 is going to be covering the adventures of Amasket, and hopefully we will be able to strike it rich in the next episode.